Good morning. It's Ian Quick with Millionaire by 50. It is Thursday, July 2nd. Ah, another beautiful morning. So, we've been talking yesterday about um, knowing what you want, which is a little different from understanding your purpose. Um, we talked about the difference and what we need to focus on and be aware of those seven rules of the universe and how they apply to what you want. Now, the big question is, how do you actually get what you want? Well, while following those seven rules, you need to change your paradigms. We've talked about this repeatedly. And one of the reasons we talk about it repeatedly is learning happens either through repetition or when a major event makes you take notice. Now, major events don't happen every day. We'd burn out emotionally if we did. So, repetition, repeating the process over and over helps a lot. One of the ways to include this repetition is by routine. Now, at first, I thought the routine was a little counterintuitive because the idea is to grow into something new, to change your paradigms, to develop new things you're going to do. So, if you stick to a routine, how do you develop new things? Well, because the routine is not 24/7. Uh, Routine is more like a little ritual to set yourself up, and then you're ready to tackle the new, to explore the different. I've been, let's be honest, we all have our routines. We've been doing them for lifetimes. Some of you get up in the morning, you shower, you have your coffee, you have your breakfast, you get dressed, you go to work, and it's the same day in, day out. You do your job. When you get to your job, you check your emails, check this, check that, attend a meeting, write a report, whatever it is. Um, Even when you get home, it's time for dinner, we gotta do this, this show's on at this time. Well, not so much anymore with streaming television, but nonetheless, we have our routines. We are creatures of habit. The problem is a lot of these routines are detrimental to what we want. They become comfort routines, and our routines are actually established by our belief, our paradigms, bad paradigms, and these routines then reinforce these bad paradigms. So the trick is to develop new routines, which at first will be difficult to maintain because they go against your established paradigms. But eventually, it will sink in and override the old paradigms and become the new normal till all of a sudden, this is fine. I mean, I don't know how many people have decided New Year's, I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to get healthy this year. And they just don't have the willpower to do it. And the gym looks like, it's hard, it's challenging. And then they start making excuses that they don't have time because the shift doesn't fit with their old existing routine. And it's only the people who have really, really dedicated themselves, major event, or the people who have enough willpower to follow through until it becomes routine, that they are able to shift and then consistently go to the gym and work out. And then that becomes part of their new lifestyle. It's not easy. Changing your mindset about your career, about your money, is not easy either. You think it would be because it seems the payoff stuff to be great, right? It's like, hey, I'm going to be rich. Well, same as, hey, I'm going to be healthy and have an awesome body. It's not easy. There's a lot of work involved. And most people, when faced with the discomfort that change brings, don't live up to it. I've been guilty of that myself in the past, and I'm really, really trying hard not to be guilty of this in the future. It's not easy, but I think, no, you know what? I know I can pull this off. there comes times in your life where you're like, yeah, this looks like fun. I'm going to try something new. And you're not really dedicated to something. And there are moments, events where you're like, no, I have to make a change. And I went through an event recently and I feel motivated still. I mean, I know I've only been doing this uh, live video thing for a couple of weeks now. And it's not 100% habit forming yet. They say it takes about 40 days or so to form a habit. But nonetheless, I'm doing this. So here's what morning has to look like now. I'm an early riser, not always out of choice, but it's become a habit. Go figure. Uh, and even if I want to sleep in now, I rarely sleep at past 6. Usually I'm up around 5:30, sometimes even earlier. Um, so the routine is get up, let the dog out. This is a necessity because the dog has to pee, and if she doesn't, when she sees I'm up, she'll just bark and wake everyone. Dog goes out, comes back in 2 minutes later. Dog wants to have breakfast. After breakfast, dog needs to be let out again. So that part's not going to change. In the past, I would then usually just sit on my computer, browse social media, play games and stuff because the house was quiet and I could enjoy some me time. And there's nothing wrong with enjoying me time. Later, I would add to that a layer of contemplation. It wasn't about the screen, it was about just sitting in silence and reflecting on certain things. I was going through stuff in my life. I'm not going to go into details about the personal stuff, but I was going through tough times and challenges and I had to figure things out. And that was it. That was my time to contemplate. And it's done a lot of good, and I like to keep that. But what I'm going to do now, as I've been doing for a little while, is also contemplate on my wants. Uh, and this at this point, my wants is the Millionaire by 50 idea. We talked about my wants yesterday. So morning is now get up, take care of the dog. After I take care of the dog, um, do this video blog, which in part focuses on my wants. It helps me put my thoughts coherently. As soon as I'm done this, go back inside and focus more on my wants. And part of that is to reread every day what the 7 laws of the universe are, what my statement is, what I want in life, my formal statement, as well as my plan for how to accomplish that. Now, the beauty of the plan is the plan is constantly evolving. Right now, there are certain things I want to um, develop. Actually, I'm in the middle of developing. I've got production meeting with a colleague tomorrow to produce video segments for my marketing and so forth. So that plan will change on a daily or weekly basis depending on the scope of the plan. But that's great because it's while I'm in that zone, while I'm focused on this is what I want, this is what I'm putting out there, this is how I can attain it right now. And that's part of the morning routine. And this I keep up until my daughter gets up. My wife is not an early riser, but that's okay. We have a dynamic that works. But I'm a morning guy. Of course, sometimes my plans will cut a little short because my daughter might wake up earlier than others. Some days she has to get up early to go to daycare or eventually school. And I will adapt my routine accordingly, but I will always find time in my routine to review my wants, to review my business plans. And I think it's super important to do that at the top of the day. You do that at the end of the day, it's a reflection on what you've done today. And then you're like, all right, tomorrow I'm going to do this. But then you go to bed, you lose your momentum. You do this in the morning, this sets your tone for the day. This is what I'm accomplishing today. This is bang, bang, bang. Um, and I think it's really important A lot of the experts out there do say uh, the people who get up early are more productive, accomplish more. And I believe it. I mean, I know there's that old adage, the early bird gets the worm. Um, there's a reason for it. When you sleep in, you come in part of the day and everybody's already in full swing and you just have to get started. And you end up playing catch up. Um, you get up early, you set the tone. And then while the people playing catch up, when everybody else at the end of the day is winding down and relaxing, because relaxing is important, they're still trying to finish what they were doing, but they might look at everybody, everybody's slacking off, it's after dinner, it's TV time, and they'll slack off too, so they've had a much shorter window of productivity. And that doesn't mean you have to be super productive every day like some kind of crazy machine. Um, you know, pacing. We'll talk about pacing some other time. But nonetheless, you need to accomplish something, and getting up early helps with that a lot. So that's my morning routine. I also throw in there a bit of exercise, not a huge amount, but a little bit of push-ups and things like that, just to keep the body toned. You know, I'm 47, pushing 50, and I'd like to be that guy who at 50 um, is healthy and can go around and do all sorts of stuff. Not that guy who's, this hurts and that hurts. Um, and not a lot of people like that. And it's unfortunate they get old before their time. Um, I want to stay young well after my time. So that is the morning routine. On that note, let's talk gratitudes for today. I'm grateful that yesterday, actually, you know what? Before we talk about the gratitudes, I want to talk a little side note about something that happened yesterday and how I believe my paradigms are shifting. Yesterday was Canada Day. It's a national holiday. Normally, I'm very, very busy and work like crazy. It's one of the busiest days of the year for me. This year, with the whole COVID lockdown, nothing is happening. No big fairs, no festivals, no giant party on Parliament Hill. Um, so it was a time to be at home. And I was like, all right, you know what? I'm going to do something I don't normally do. We're going to have a big, I tried a pulled pork recipe in the slow cooker. I love pulled pork. And, here's the setup. You got to cook it. And I was just going to enjoy my day. We were having one friend over as part of our little bubble, who she was alone that night. But I had to do house chores and, just tidy and meal planning and the timing and all this. And it wasn't anything major. It had to be done, and I had no problems doing it. But just about 10 minutes into my slow cooker starting, the power goes out. I'm like, what? And as I'm about to go downstairs to check the circuit breaker, I see through the side door the neighbor, we share a driveway, um, walking towards my house. So I open the door, I'm like, is your power out too? And he's like, yep. Because he wanted to check, is it him or is it us? It was us, the whole block. So I go online and I check with Hydro Ottawa, and lo and behold, um, about a strip of 4 streets is blacked out. Why? Well, they've been doing road work recently, so I'm like, why would you be doing road work on a national holiday? But whatever. The problem is, I had to get the slow cooker started, and according to the website, the power would be back at the latest at 2:30. Well, this thing needs 5-6 hours to cook, and I had still this cleaning to do. I was like, oh, I can't vacuum, no, I can't do this, no, I can't do that. And for a moment, I was upset. So dinner won't be ready till 8, but asking a 3-year-old, hang on, um, not easy. But then ultimately, I decided, you know what? Who cares? We're on holidays. She can snack before, and I couldn't do any vacuuming. I couldn't do any cooking. My daughter at first was upset because that meant the TV wasn't working. Uh, But instead, I chose to look at it as I get to have uninterrupted playtime with my daughter because there's no other distractions. There's nothing else we can do right now. And so we sat on the floor and played with her Legos and had little adventures and all sorts of stuff. And this disconnect from the power allowed me an additional connection with my daughter. So that's the law of polarity. For every bad, there's a good in there. And it was great. It was fun. And I decided to not look at this as a problem, but to look at this as an opportunity to do something else. So back to my gratitudes. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for that little pause in life where there was no internet, no nothing, just two human beings enjoying each other's company. It was great. I'm grateful for the opportunities that today brings. I actually have a show tonight, so that's great. Usually I don't get them on weekdays, but now that everybody's in isolation, parents aren't at work, so they can have their parties whatever they want. Um, Yay. And I'm grateful that I've got plans moving forward tomorrow to up my customer service game and my marketing game. On that note, I will see you tomorrow.